All right, let's talk about Sammaan Capital. For what feels like forever, over 6 years to be exact, a massive legal storm has been swirling around this company. But a recent bombshell ruling from the Supreme Court might have just cleared the skies for good. So today, we're going to break down exactly what just happened and, more importantly, what it could mean for what happens next. And bombshell is absolutely the right word here. This isn't just some minor update. The Supreme Court of India has handed down a decision that is sending some serious shockwaves through the market. Why? Because this ruling tackles the biggest question mark that has held this stock back for years. So let's get right into it. What is this bombshell all about? This is a huge, decisive ruling from the highest court in the land, and it cuts right to the heart of a long, drawn-out legal battle. So what's the bottom line from the court? Well, first, they confirmed there will be no new investigations against Sammaan Capital. Period. Second, they didn't order an FIR, which is basically the formal start of a police investigation. Third, and this is so important, the court was clear that it expressed no negative opinions about the company's conduct. And that original problem with disputed loans? Yeah, those are fully paid back years ago. This really sounds like a clean slate, doesn't it? Which kind of begs the question, what exactly was this 6-year cloud of uncertainty all about in the first place? To really understand why today's news is so significant, we need to rewind the clock a bit. Yeah, this was not a short fight. To really get the weight of this new ruling, you have to understand the legal saga that started way back in 2019. A saga that has cast this long shadow over the company ever since. Okay, so it all kicked off in 2019 with a public interest litigation which alleged some serious irregularities. Over the next few years, India's top regulators, we're talking the big guns, the RBI and SEBI, they all investigated and found no wrongdoing by the company itself. So based on that, the Delhi High Court dismissed the case in early 2024. But an appeal sent it all the way up to the Supreme Court, which brings us to today's pivotal ruling. And this brings us to what is maybe the single most crucial point from the Supreme Court. The court drew a bright, clear line in the sand, effectively separating Sammaan Capital as a company from the alleged actions of its former promoter. I mean, this quote from the court just says it all. The judges went out of their way to put on the record that their proceedings are not a judgment against Sammaan Capital as a corporate entity. That is a deliberate and incredibly powerful distinction to make. And this just illustrates that separation perfectly. On one side, you have Sammaan Capital. It's been cleared by regulators, and now it's operating as a promoterless, board-run company, which often signals a move towards more professional governance. Then, on the other side, you have the old promoter, who is completely out of the company. The court has made it crystal clear. The legal case is now pointed squarely at him, not the company he founded. So with this massive legal overhang finally clearing up, it's the perfect time to look past all the headlines and ask, okay, but what about the actual business? What do the fundamentals and the stock chart tell us? It's no surprise that while this huge legal battle was raging, the company's financials went through a pretty tough time, but more recently, the numbers are starting to tell a very different story, a story of recovery. Now, this chart tells a fascinating story. Let's focus on the net profit line near the bottom. You can see this huge dip into a loss in March 2024, right? But look at the very next column. Bam! A sharp swing right back into profitability. And we see the exact same V-shaped recovery in the financing margin a few lines up. That's basically their core profitability, jumping from negative 26% to a healthy positive 21%. This isn't just a small recovery. It's a powerful rebound. So, the fundamentals are improving, and the legal picture is finally clearing up. That combination gets technical analysts very, very interested. So let's switch gears and look at what the stock chart itself is signaling. Right now, traders and investors are all zeroing in on one specific price. A move above this number could be the catalyst, the spark that confirms a major shift in momentum. And that number is 180. 6. That is the magic number. For months, this has been the ceiling, the key resistance level that the stock just hasn't been able to break through. And here's why 186 is so critical. As you can see on the chart, the price has carved out a classic bullish cup and handle pattern. Just follow the price from left to right. You can trace this big rounded bottom. That's the cup. Then over on the right, you see this smaller, brief dip. That's the handle. A strong, decisive move above that 186 neckline would confirm the breakout, and technical analysts see a potential path all the way up towards the 280 to 290 zone. Okay, so let's put all of this together. We have legal clarity, we have improving fundamentals, and we have a bullish technical setup. This brings us to the big question on every single investor's mind. Is Sammaan Capital due for a massive re-rating? Well, the catalysts are certainly lining up. First, legal clarity. The huge 6-year overhang is basically gone. Check. Improving fundamentals. The financials show a business that's back on track. Check. Bullish technicals. The chart is signaling a major breakout is in play. Check. And then there's the wild card, the potential for IHC to become the new promoter. This is a big deal because it could bring in strong new leadership and strategic direction. The pieces really do seem to be falling into place. A clean legal slate, a business that's recovering, and a market that's starting to take notice. The question now is, with its single biggest obstacle finally removed, are we about to witness the start of a brand new chapter for Sammaan Capital? I guess we'll have to wait and see.